A couple of nights ago, my son Tyler, he had passed away in his sleep. We don't know exactly the cause, but it's really sad. Rest in peace, Tyler. And we're going to talk more about my relationship with Tyler in his early days and his latter days. But first, we're going to talk about his childhood days. Tyler was a special son, and we're going to talk a few minutes about his accomplishments. But he was just a good boy. He was a normal boy. He had his problems, he had his good points, he had his bad points, but Tyler was basically a good boy. It's really heart-wrenching when you raise a child and you get to see them growing up and then they pass away. It's something that I guess you don't really know unless you experience it. He was a good brother to his two sisters, Natalie and Mackenzie. He was the middle child, and he was a really gifted athlete. He really had a lot going for him. Tyler he was a good guy, and anyone who knew Tyler knew his heart was of gold. Tyler was born October 1st, 1988 at Chapman General Hospital in the city of Orange. He was just a normal boy. His mother, Susan, was always a good mother to Tyler. She took care of Tyler. She loved Tyler, and so did I. Tyler was really just a gift from God, and he was a good brother to his sisters, and he was always a loving and sweet brother. I remember when Tyler was born, he was such a beautiful baby. I wanted to name him Tyson. And his mother, Susan, said, no, we're going to name him Tyler. And she said yes to Tyson, but she said, why? And I said, I want to name him after Mike Tyson. And she said, no, we're going to name him Tyler. And I agreed, and she made the right decision, Tyler. I told Susan, you pick the first name, I get to pick the middle name. So Tyler's middle name was Curtis, because of my best friend in college was named Curtis Cox, and we're roommates, we hung out, we were best of friends in college, and Tyler's middle name was Curtis. It was Tyler Curtis Buffington. Tyler just loved sports as a young boy. He just loved it, and I love sports too. We hung out, we used to sleep on the couch. He wore my motorcycle helmet all the time, sleeping, watching TV. We were best of friends. And Tyler, he liked ice skating because I watched the LA Kings hockey games all the time, and he wanted to play hockey. So at age 1.5, he could barely walk. I bought him his first hockey skate. Started playing ice hockey at age 1.5 with the older boys at the Ice Capades, Costa Mesa, California. And he was just like a normal 1.5-year-old, barely moving on the ice. At the age of 2, Tyler started to blossom in the sport of hockey. His mother was concerned because Tyler was playing so much sports. She was worried about his feet because he was such a young baby. She said, I think it's going to hurt his feet. So I went to a medical doctor and I asked him, will playing hockey for a 1.5, a 2-year-old boy, will that be serious injury to his legs in the future? And the doctor says, heavens no, let him play hockey. So Tyler was a hockey player. And by the age of 2, he was scoring goals, he was skating fast, and he was doing really well. He became a leader on this hockey team at age 2 against the 5-year-olds. And he ended up his career in his little midget hockey with 104 goals and 58 assists. Tyler Buffington was a hockey star. At age 3 and 4, Tyler changed and went to roller hockey from ice hockey. He liked the Anaheim Bullfrogs. They played at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim, and he got to watch all of his favorite players. One of my friends on Facebook, Berkeley Hoagland, he was a member of the Connecticut Coasters. They played the Anaheim Bullfrogs in a playoff game and lost. And Tyler loved Berkeley. He loved all the stars on the Anaheim Bullfrogs. Tyler, Susan, and the kids used to always come and watch me race Speedway. in the early 90s over at Lake Paris. I had a home over there at the Paris, and I was a local boy and came back to Speedway, and Tyler was always there cheering me on, and he was always sitting on my bike after all the races. He would reach for the handlebars. He could barely reach them as like a 5-year-old. He just loved the Speedway. He loved the noise. And he loved watching his dad win. One of my sponsors had a lot of motorcycles on Lake Elsinore, and he had a little bike. And when Tyler was just a little toddler, I had Tyler get on the motorcycle. It was a little mini bike, a little mini. And Tyler was riding for his first time. And he rode and he went over a 2-meter cliff, about 6 feet, landed on his face, broke his nose, blood everywhere. And I was like gonna pass out. It's the first time he ever rode a motorcycle. And I just said, that's it. I'm not going to have Tyler be a motorcycle rider. Tyler got into baseball at age about 5. And he was a t-ball player. His first team was the Giants. And he was a good player. He hit a couple home runs. They had a white line. And then you had to hit the ball over the white line and get a home run. And here was Tyler's first trophy on the Giants. It was nice. And I kept this trophy, his first baseball trophy at age 5. And Tyler was a Giant. And I saw he had a tremendous ability as a baseball player. At age 7, Tyler, he played on the Marlins. It was a AA Marlins. He went from T-ball to AA. And he was a good player. He was a pitcher. He showed a lot of promise. And he hit a couple home runs. And Tyler, I just kicked back and watched him, and it looked like we had a star. His name was Tyler. At age 8, I couldn't stand back and watch no more. I had to coach. I was a manager of the AAA Mariners, the Seattle Mariners, and Tyler was a pitcher. He was a young guy playing against all these older boys in the AAA. And Tyler showed a lot of promise. We didn't win a lot of games, to be honest with you, but Tyler was a good player, and we had kind of a lower end team, but Tyler was really good. At age 9, Tyler was drafted to the majors. Tyler was a major at age 9. It's really hard to be in the major at age 9, but Tyler was drafted on the Cardinals. The Cardinals was a championship team in the majors. Tyler was a pitcher, a young pitcher, and they had a good team. He was definitely a first-year player, but Tyler was really great. We had a great year. I kicked back and enjoyed watching Tyler's first year in the majors at age 9. Age 10, Tyler was still on the Cardinals. He was an all-star at age 10. That's almost unheard of. And Tyler was just a great player. He was hitting home runs on the major fence. And he was doing really well. I think he hit a home run in his first all-star game. And he was just a fantastic player. He kept getting better and better and better. And I was getting more proud as a dad. The manager of the Cardinals moved on because of his kid. He got old. So I took over as the manager of the Cardinals. And it was the first year they played the Little League Baseball at McPherson Junior High in Orange, California. And they opened this brand new field. And Tyler was a star pitcher at age 11. He led the whole league in pitching, ERA, strikeouts, hits, home runs. Tyler led the whole league in everything. And we won the first championship, Major League Championship, at age 11. Tyler was a star. He was an all-star. And he went to All-Stars, and he was the #1 player on the team. He led the team in home runs. However, we didn't have a real good All-Star team, but Tyler was a sensational player. Also, at age 11, he played his first travel ball on the Orange Panthers. It was over at Hart Park in Orange, California. And Coach Rich was the coach at the time. And we had the star of the Atlanta Braves, #5, the first baseman, Freddie Freeman. He was a 10-year-old when Tyler was 11. They played travel ball together, and Freddie was a superstar. He was really one of the best players on the team. He was bigger than everyone else, and he was a star. And Tyler was just a little bit below Freddie, but it was a great experience. Tyler was a great baseball player. Freddie was a greater baseball player, and we had a great time. Age 12, they had a Garden Grove Pony League All-Star team. It was always in the paper, and we put Tyler over there at the pony team. They were just a great players over in Garden Grove, California, and Tyler was played on the Dodgers. They had kind of a bad team, but Tyler made the All-Stars. They went really deep in the All-Stars. They had just a fantastic team in Garden Grove, and we had a really successful year. We took him out of Little League because he was just too dominant for Little League. I remember this one story when Tyler was like 11 or 12. They had these tryouts for the Corona Bulldogs. It was the very famous travel team. It was the #1 team in the area, and they had good coaches and everything. They were like the star travel team of Southern California. And they had one opening, and they had tryouts at Placentia, California. And I said to Tyler, hey, you want to go try out for this team? It's a very exclusive team. One person's going to make that team. And Tyler says, okay, Dad. So we go over there, and there's 125 people. So many people. And I'm like, Tyler, you have to play really good to beat 125 kids for one spot. And Tyler looked at me, and he said, don't worry, Dad. I'm going to smoke this tryout. And I said, okay, you go out there and play. Don't talk to me about it. You go out and perform. So they had the tryouts with the fly balls. Tyler was perfect. They had the grounders, the throw to first base. Tyler was smoking it. They had the hitting. Tyler got, I think, 2 home runs. He was hitting the ball hard. He smacked the ball really hard. And he just had a perfect tryout. And I was impressed. Some of the kids played pretty good too, but Tyler pretty much was perfect. So after the event was over, the coach was on the pitcher's mound, and all the kids rushing to the pitcher's mound. Coach, Coach, did I make it? Did I make it? And I turned to Tyler, and I saw all this going on, and I said, let's go to the car, Tyler. I put my arm around Tyler. We walked away from the crowd. We walked alone in the parking lot, and I told Tyler, if the coach wants us, he's going to go ahead and call us. And Tyler's like, what about us? And I said, just don't worry. You performed well, and he'll call you if he wants you. And then the coach clears the crowd from the pitcher's mound and runs, basically walks fast towards us and says, Tyler, Brian, wait. And I turned around with Tyler in my arms, and I said, yes, coach. And he said, come up to me, and he says, Tyler, you made the team. The next few years, Tyler was playing at age 13 and 14, and he was doing really well. He was doing travel ball, and he played in all the leagues. Tyler was an all-star, and Tyler was really the best. We had Tyler in fitness training centers. He was learning to run fast. He was basically a star athlete in all facets, and I thought Tyler was going to go all the way in baseball, but something changed. At age 5, I bought Tyler this little drum set. It's just a little tiny drum set for children. And I wanted to have him develop his hand-eye coordination, which Tyler was excellent. And when he got older, he started playing the drums more and more. He bought bigger drums, and he became a gifted drummer. So good. And I liked it because it was like his coordination for baseball. But suddenly things changed. And we're going to talk more about that on the next show. But Tyler was a gifted baseball player, but he got into drumming after that. He fell in love with the drums. Tyler Buffington. Rest in peace, Tyler. God, I'm so sad. It just destroys me, you know, your loss. And I hope you're in a better place now, Tyler. And we all pray for you. We all love you. And Tyler, you're in our hearts forever. So thank you for the memories. We had so many memories with you. We're going to talk about you a little bit more. We love you. We appreciate you. You're a good brother. You're a good boyfriend to your girlfriend. You're a good brother, son, everything. Thank you so much, Tyler. God bless. And we're just heartbroken.